We're going to be doing our discussion tonight on predetermination, predestination.
They tend to go with predestination.
Yeah, predestination, predetermination. And I found this great photo online. It's a quote from Stephen Hawking, and he says, "I have noticed that people who claim everything is predestined and that we can do nothing to change it look both ways before they cross the road."
That's great.
That's a great one. So we're gonna start the timer.
And you know what's funny about that quote? Sorry to interrupt you. Is Stephen Hawking got hit by a car crossing the road?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was in his wheelchair and he was crossing the road and he didn't time it right and he got hit. He got knocked out of his chair.
I did not hear about that. When did that happen?
Oh, years and years ago.
Oh man, I didn't hear about that. God. Okay, well we're gonna start the time, and there it goes. And Medusa, since you've been going second, you can start us off.
Yes, please. I yield to Medusa.
Yes.
Why me? What did I do?
Because you're an expert on this stuff.
You're an expert on predetermination.
Only because I went to Eastern Orthodox Bible school.
Sure.
And they really, Theophan the Recluse, and because I'm Greek I can say that, Bishop Theophan, that's as high as we go. We don't have a pope in Eastern Orthodoxy.
Mm-hmm.
We don't believe that there's some little old man named Pope whose God is whispering in his ear. We think that's just insane talk. And we have a lot of disdain for the Pope. So keep Roman Catholicism way out of this. Because when you get into predetermination, let me go up here to this one page I'm referring to. It's absolutely stupefying the different levels of predestination that they have. They have conditional predestination, temporal predestination, infralaparianism, single predestination. I mean, it goes on and on. Lutheran, Calvinism, Karl Barth's view. But I like the simplicity of Eastern Orthodoxy, wherein the answer is simply this. It's impossible to know things beforehand. Even God can't know them. That's what we say. So we say, hedge your bets. Be well behaved just in case everything is preordained and you are going to hell. Maybe if you're good, you won't. So that's kind of the answer I'm leaning towards. There is no such thing as predestination. It's a fantasy land.
Yeah.
It's every much a fantasy land as the notion of heaven. Heaven is a fantasy land, is it not?
As far as I know, it is.
And so is hell, as far as I know. So, in my mind, so is predestination. You just cannot know. So you have to be a good person and walk that straight line just in case there might be divine determination.
Right.
And we get screwed. So that's kind of my thought, is not do unto others as you would have them do unto you, but that is kind of how I lead my life. If I don't want this guy I don't know to be a jerk to me, I'm not going to be a jerk to him. And it doesn't have anything to do with religion or predetermination or going to heaven or going to hell. I just want people to be nice to me, so I'm nice to them.
Yes.
And that is as far up the ladder. That's one rung up the ladder of predetermination. And I don't think you're going to get any further than that in understanding it.
Yeah.
And because free will comes in with predetermination. And it screws everything up for God. Man's free will. You've got to understand that God gave man free will. Well, that screws divine determination up from the get-go.
Yeah. It's like saying, you know, because if God already knows what's going to happen to you, then free will doesn't exist, because
Exactly.
he's already predetermined what's going to happen to you. So,
Correct.
yeah. So, Joe, you got like 2 minutes left here.
Okay, yeah. Predetermination seems to walk hand in hand with the common concept of fate. It's a philosophical idea that seems to make claims of special knowledge and further commits the fallacy of false cause. The claim that everything we do, say, think, everything that happens to us was predetermined would be required to be demonstrated and proven. And as Medusa mentioned, this also seems to run contrary to another philosophical notion of free will. But in my limited reading on this, I found that some philosophers feel predetermination and free will are reliant on each other, which kind of confuses me. Further, if everything was predetermined, who determined it for us?
Right.
Was it a god or gods? Or is there a bunch of transdimensional beings that look like mice running the earth like a giant maze for all of us to run through? If God is the predeterminer, then one must first demonstrate that there is a God before they can move on to show that life was predetermined for us.
Yeah. It's, you know, the whole predetermination thing, it just if I've said this before, if God is not in, if everything God does is, or God anyway, is in control, then free will doesn't exist. It's just not possible.
Mm-hmm.
The two are mutually exclusive. It's like saying, if I were to, it says here, this is like a part. This is one argument from free will here. It says, if one cell, for example, if a man is made of cells and cells do not have free will, the man does not have free will. But that's kind of stupid, because some cells have, well, free will because they do what they want to anyway without you, and these other ones don't. It's or another one is, if an airplane put all together can fly, but the parts individually can't fly. So,
But then you have statements like this from Catholic catechism that says God predestines no one to go to hell. Well, does he or doesn't he?
Right.
Does he color his hair or doesn't he color his hair?
It's
Does
like
he send... No, you go.
well, it's like George Carlin said: "If God has a plan, then why pray?"
Right. Because why spend all that time putting together a universe when you can, when some guy with a $2 prayer book can and can come and fuck up your plan? What goes the plan then?
Like
And that's our time. So I think this is a good this is a good discussion here. So
yeah, that was good and
Yep.
heated.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So predetermination, I think, is a total fucking waste of time and total fucking bullshit.